Hello, welcome to Monday Mapping with Laurel. For those of you who have never joined us before, welcome. I'm really excited to have you here. So, first, what is body mapping? Body mapping is the literal map that the universe or your creator left on your body to help you know that you have purpose, to know that you have matter, and to help you figure out things in this life experience that are really important for you to know. So the basis of body mapping is that every part of your body can be measured with another part of your body. And when that is in proportion versus out of proportion, it tells me something about you. Hey, Tasha. When you have symptoms, it also tells me something about your emotions. I personally believe that a person is a mind, a body, and a spirit. And when those three things are in alignment, then we are in a really good place physically, mentally, spiritually, all of those things. And when something is out of alignment, our body gives us symptoms. Hey, Lori. And when we get those symptoms, they are just messages. They're not good or bad. They are messages from our body trying to tell us things about ourselves. So I had someone post in the Body Mapping with Laurel Facebook group, and they asked about chins, double chins, extra skin down here, everything from here-ish, things going on with the neck. First thing you need to know when I talk about chins and necks is that I make up words, one of which is a chinek. So a chinek is when there really isn't a distinct difference between the chin and the neck. It just kind of is a slow angle that meets. The reason that this is because when you are measuring in body mapping, the most beautiful part about it is that my proportions do not necessarily equal your proportions. And what I mean by that is that when I measure myself against myself, I can get accurate measurements. But when I try to measure myself against someone else, I will always be wrong about who I am and who they are. So for instance, if I were to take two fingers and put them under my lip, if my chin was properly proportioned for my body, my chin would go to the bottom of the second finger. I have a short chin. So when I put my two fingers up, I can actually touch the back of one of my fingers. So my chin is only 1.5 fingers, and it's supposed to be 2. So when you measure, if you are able to, if the chin comes to the bottom of your finger, then you have a proportionate chin. If you're like me, and I can actually feel the back of that second finger, then you have a short chin. If when you put two fingers under your lip, and I'll stop talking for a minute so you can see this. So it goes under your lip and then to the chin. So if when you put your two fingers up, you see chin, then you have a long chin. So keep in mind, none of this is good or bad or right or wrong. It just tells me really cool things about you. So I have a couple of things I want to cover in this. So first, I'm going to actually tell you the meaning behind the chin, what the different shapes and sizes of the chin tell me. But then a couple people had some symptoms or messages that they wanted interpreted. And that is something that I want to try and do more fully in these videos. After I did the foot video, it was really interesting. I had a lot of personal messages sent to me after the foot video, and I appreciate those. I know I'm still trying to get to some of them. When I say a lot, I mean a lot. So one thing that I would ask is, it's actually easier for me to find and answer your questions if you post them in the comments of the video rather than personally message me through Facebook. Because I get a lot of personal messages and sometimes people get lost in them, and I'm not trying to ignore you. I just get so many that you got lost. So I don't want you lost. I want you to know that your questions matter to me. I want you to know that I really am here to answer your questions. So if you can post your questions in the comments of the videos rather than direct message me, that's actually really helpful. The other question that I got asked a ton after the foot video is, do I do any private readings or sessions? Yes and no. I used to when we could be in public together, I actually used to host live events and classes. And during those live events and classes, I would get people out of the audience and actually map them. Now, where things are kind of shut down, how they are shut down, I only do mapping for those that are in my group mentoring program, which is called the Year of You Journey, and for those that I am working with one-on-one in personal sessions. And so I do them. We don't have big, large audiences that I can pull people from anymore, which is actually why I started to do these free live Facebook groups, because I still wanted to make sure people were getting the information. So I hope that answers some of your questions. If you have more, let me know. And now to chins. Okay, so with the chins, we're going to talk about the shape, the meaning, and then people always ask me about acne. You have a 3.5 chin. See, when people actually measure, they're like, wait, what? So we're going to talk about acne on the chin, and then we're also going to talk about the jaw. Now, this may sound silly, but you'd be amazed at how many people, when I talk about the chin, start asking me questions about their jaw. They are two different parts on your body. And when you are, I'm going to use 2 pens here. So if I were to take and stop talking for just a moment and go from the corners of my mouth straight down, that is my chin. Everything from the bottom of my ear to that is my jaw. So when I talk about your chin, I'm talking about this area right here. When I'm talking about the jaw, I'm talking about this area right here. Okay. So with your chin, the first thing, regardless of whether it's a narrow or a long chin, the more pointed the chin, the more to the point the words you use. So people with pointed chins tend to be more bold in their words, and they tend to be more to the point. They're not going to add needless detail. So if you were to have 2 people standing next to each other, and one person had a more pointy chin and the other person had one that comes more straight across, so the face would look more like this rather than come down. If you were to ask the person that their chin was more straight across, oh, how was your vacation? They would give you a lot of details about their vacation. Oh my goodness, the water was perfect, and as soon as we got off the plane, there were these gorgeous birds, and they're going to give you more detail. When you ask someone with a pointed chin, they only add detail if it adds to the point they're trying to make. So if you say, how was your vacation? They will say something like, it was awesome. We loved it. And that's all. Now, if they have a pointed long chin, their words are even more to the point, but they will use more of them. If they have a short pointed chin, these people often get accused of being very bold, very brass, because they give very short answers. They have so the length of the chin is the amount of words you will use. So like 1 word versus 10. The longer the chin, the more words. But the more pointed the chin, the more to the point the phrases will be. Now, this is where it gets kind of tricky. Your jaw comes into play as well. The more square or pronounced the jaw is. So when I'm looking forward, let me see if I can get straight on, you don't really see the edges of my chin. Where if someone has a square jaw, they have these very powerful square points on the sides of their chin. The more pronounced the jaw, the more the power they have behind their words. So think larger vocabulary. They're going, instead of saying like, that person's crazy, they'll be like, wow, they are really ostentatious. They're really eccentric. So people with larger jaws tend to have more powerful words. So your jaw is more about vocabulary. Your chin is more about word count. Is this making sense so far? Let me know in the chat if I lost you or if you're good. So your jaw is power, and the way I remember it and keep it different, the more pointed the chin, the more pointed the words. your jaw is actually the strongest bone that you have in your body. And so your jaw is extremely powerful, especially pounds per inch. So powerful jaw, powerful words. Now, some of you, and this is why I will be honest, I kind of procrastinated doing this video, because especially with women, so many women have been so shamed for having an opinion, for being bold in their opinions, for being strong in their opinions, that they have a lot of jaw and throat problems. And if they are internal problems, constant strep throat, have kind of a raspiness to their voice, if it is that they have been told their words are too harsh, or they have really hurt someone's feelings by being to the point, they will tend to gain weight or have loose skin so that the jaw looks softer. So I purposefully pulled my hair up and had this so that I could kind of manipulate my chin a little bit. So if I were to, so right now I have a pointed chin, but not an extremely pointed chin. And my words tend to be pretty pointy. I've had to develop the skill. You can go ahead and just pull it shut. I've actually had to develop the skill of softening my words when talking to certain people. Now, if I was in shame or feeling like I constantly had to, that I wasn't allowed to be bold in my words, my chin would start to soften. And so, or if I felt like I needed to use more words, then you would get more of like the saggy skin that comes down right here, because your chin is trying to elongate for you. It's trying to remind you, use more words. If your words are trying to soften, then you'll get more roundness. Is this making sense? So when you have these really strong, harsh lines to your face, it's because your words tend to be harsher and bolder and stronger. When you have soft lines, so think like a cute little Cabbage Patch face. They have a baby face. When someone who has these cute, they have a circle jaw, they have a flat chin, they have circle cheeks, and they say something that's really brass or bold, you're kind of like, are you having a bad day? But someone who has a very structured, angular face, if they're very to the point, people give them a little bit of a leeway there, because we're expecting them to be more to a point. So the more rounded the jaw, the more rounded the chin, the more rounded the person. So the more details and the softer they're going to be with their words. So a lot of people who have harsh angles on their face, they have that really beautiful bone structure, and they've been condemned for having strong words or being very opinionated, their face will soften. And those tend to be the people that will get a second chin, whether they have extra weight or not. Taylor, I'm right there with you. Taylor said I had to develop the skill of softening my words. So did I. And if you actually look at pictures, I am the same weight as I was when I started speaking, but I have softened because all of this right here, I mean, I had a very sharp chin and I have had to, and so my skin is softened right there. And here's the thing. We live in a society that says you have to look a certain way to be valuable or beautiful. And we have all of these mean girls in our heads saying that, oh, if we have saggy skin or if our face doesn't look a certain way, then that means we look old or we look tired or we look whatever. I know that my skin has softened slightly right here so that I have a softer looking jaw, so that I remember to use softness with people that need it. My body is helping me to have better relationships with other people. So I don't hate that I don't have the tight jaw I used to have. Because here's the other thing. If you don't allow your body to change, it will cause other symptoms. Yes. So a lot of people that have lockjaw or TMJ, they are people who tend to swallow their words a lot. They spend a lot of time clenching their jaw. They spend a lot of time gating their words. In body language, because I'm also an expert in body language, you'll actually see people and they'll talk to you like this. And when people talk to you like this, know that they are not saying everything that they want to say. And the more fingers, the more they're holding back. Now, if you're in the middle of a story and they're just they're being polite. Don't overthink this. Don't automatically be like, "Oh, they're thinking something mean about me." No, they're trying to prevent themselves from interrupting you. Okay? The longer you talk and the more excited they are to share, the more fingers. But look at what they're covering. So when people are thinking about what they want to say, they'll rub their chin. And then if you keep talking, they'll cover. And then they'll cover some more. And then they'll pull on their chin. And if this happens, they took the words and they threw them away. So if you say, "Okay, now what did you want to tell me?" They'll go, "I don't know." They really don't know. They took them and they threw it away. So if someone's talking to you and they're, pause your story and go, "What is it you want to say?" Especially if it's a child. We will, so if this is another one, if we think our words are going to be too harsh, we'll cover our chin. But when people have jaw problems, I know that they have a lifetime. They had a childhood where they were quick-witted, very sarcastic. They had something that they said quickly and it hurt someone. And it hurt that person, or they got in really big trouble for it. And so they no longer say what they mean or mean what they say. And they clench their jaw and they talk like this. And they will constantly have jaw problems. Or throat, because that's where all of that gets trapped. People that have acne on their chin, there's lots of acne on their chin. Taylor, you used to have lots of jaw issues, but that is because you used to hold your words, and now you have learned how to express yourself in a way that's not hurtful, but it is you can still be very bold and strong in your words without hurting. I totally just saw a person in my mind who holds her fingers to her mouth, and I always just learned that she has struggled her whole life to express herself honestly. Yeah. And so women are far more likely to cover their mouth because we actually think in response. So we will have a response before someone finishes their sentence. So don't automatically assume that if someone's covering, they have something bad to say. It may just be they're trying to be polite and not interrupt you. However, if even when you pause and they're still here, invite them. Say, I just have a feeling you have something to contribute to this. Would you be willing to share? I love when I used to facilitate classes at my church, and we would have a women's group that would get together and we would discuss different topics. And I always knew who to call on because as I was talking and bringing up the discussion, I would watch. And I know who had an opinion about it and who didn't. And those are the people I would call on. So, and they were always like, "How did you know I had something I wanted to say?" Well, you covered your mouth. That's how. And yes, very brass in my words, and it was hurtful to many, including myself. So, Taylor, I would be curious now, have your jaw problems gone away now that you are better at showing kindness in your words? I know for me, all of my throat issues have gone away, including most of my thyroid problems. So, I wasn't planning. So, I'm going to make myself a note because thyroid is its own thing. I'm going to have to do that on another live. Do any of you guys have thyroid issues? Do you want to know what's behind it? Because if not, I won't do a video on it. Okay, I want to talk about acne on the chin though. So a lot of people that get acne on their chin, there are different types of acne. So there are blackheads, and blackheads are unexpressed inner anger. It's anger towards self. Whiteheads that come up to the surface and come out are anger at the outside world. So blackheads, their inner infection. Whiteheads are outer infection, outer world. Okay? So anytime, oh, Taylor, I'm glad. Thyroid, yes. Okay, then I will be doing a thyroid video. Okay, so people that have acne anywhere on the face. Outer world would be whiteheads. Inner world will be blackheads. And your nose is all about money. How many people do you know that have blackheads all over their nose? Because it's a mind game. Okay, so but unexpressed anger towards others will show up on the chin. Unexpressed anger towards self, meaning you're not confronting the mean girl in your head. It'll show up on your chin as blackheads. Because I have had people who have used every face cleaner out there and they still have acne problems. Cheek acne, you're putting on a mask. Cheek acne is all about masking yourself. And if it is outer anger, it's that because you feel like you have to hide who you really are from the world. And it usually starts with cheek acne, and then you start to develop weight gain. Forehead stuff is about knowledge and inspiration and not understanding. So when you get acne across your forehead, I did a video on foreheads. It was, I think, the very first video I did. But forehead acne is all about understanding or not being able to understand. So if you don't understand what's happening in the world around you, you'll get whiteheads. Where if you are not understanding your own thoughts, you're more prone to blackheads. So whiteheads on your chin right now. Okay, so blackheads, inner world, inner infection. Whiteheads, outer world, outer infection. It's the world around you. But acne as a whole is unexpressed anger. The worse the acne. So if it's like a boil, it's not anger, it's rage. It is deep-seated rage. And that's why it's boiling under your skin. That's why it's a boil, not necessarily a pimple or a zit. And there's so much and this is the beautiful thing about it though. When you actually develop the acne, it's because it's ready to come up and out. You're ready to express it. So here's the thing. If you want your acne to go away, start expressing it. If you aren't expressing it, it's just going to come back. Now, here's what I mean about express it. Express it healthy. This doesn't mean rage at your neighbor or the person at the grocery store. This means take a walk in nature, find a tree, and take it out on the tree. Alicia Roberts, she talks about acne. Oh, I'll have to look her up. Because you just spewing anger on people isn't what I mean about expressing yourself. Especially, and here's the thing, people have far more blackheads on their body than they do whiteheads. But blackheads are usually under the skin. They don't cause the visible problems that a whitehead does. We are so much crueler inside. You're going to tell Alicia, okay? We are so much more cruel to ourselves on the inside than the outside world ever will be. So when I see teenagers that have a lot of acne, that makes sense to me. They don't understand the world around them. Of course they feel like they have to hide. Of course they're having struggles understanding what's going on. But when I see teenagers and adults that have blackheads, I just want to hug them. I just want to hold them and tell them, you are so much more important than you think you are. You are so much more valuable than you realize. Stop listening to the inner mean girl. Acne, that's anger at the world. Everyone has anger at the world. But blackheads, that's anger itself. And this is why I want to teach people about body mapping. This is why I have started doing these videos. Because you see people differently when you can actually see them. instead of looking at a teenager and thinking that they're unhygienic and disgusting because they have acne and blackheads, see that they're angry at the world and see that they're angry at themselves. That's why they're not taking care of themselves. It's because they don't think they're worthy of being taken care of. So I know I totally squirreled off of chins and jaws, but acne is such a big one for me. And so I hope that this helped. This is why adults can still have acne. It's not just a hormone problem. It's not just a hygiene problem. It's feeling like you can express yourself inside and to the rest of the world. It's feeling like you're heard. The difference between anger and rage. Rage usually has betrayal tied to it somehow. You can be angry at someone without feeling betrayed by them. And the difference there is whether or not there is trust. We can't feel betrayed by someone that we never trusted. And so betrayal always has a broken trust. It's not just hurt. It's not just anger. And so rage is a deep-seated, there was a lot of broken trust there. Taylor, I'm glad this is making sense. And yes, I tell people all the time, if you have a crappy diet and you don't wash your face and you fall asleep with cheap makeup on, yeah, you're going to get acne. That symptom matches. But if you are someone who has good nutrition, you have a good skincare regimen, and you're still having problems with acne, it's not about your skincare. It's about your heart care. Are you feeling heard? Are you feeling loved? What about acne on other parts of your body? It depends on the part of the body. So, like backne is all about stuff from your past. Backne is another word I make up. That's acne on your back. So with skin and hair stuff, you actually have to take into consideration where the skin and hair is. So now I know more videos that we need to do here. So body mapping is, if I just teach it in a live event, it takes me 3 days to go through all of the external components of a body. And then it takes me 12 weeks to go through all of the organs and all of the meanings behind all of those. So I am hoping that things get a little bit more normal, because I would love to do a live event, a live 3-day event about body mapping in the spring. And so kind of keep that in the back of your mind for those of you that have a lot of questions about body mapping. I would definitely recommend joining the Year of You journey, because you would have an entire year of weekly mentoring that we would talk specifically about the people in the group and what they are needing. Otherwise, keep joining here. And let's see, I have so many less blackheads than I used to. Yep, I used to spend hours trying to get rid of them. Now I don't spend much time on them at all. Yep, but they're starting to improve. And that's the thing with blackheads, the more personal development you do, the more that you are able to embrace and find your truer self, the clearer your skin is. I'm not wearing foundation, right? I have my eyebrows drawn on and I have eye makeup on, but this is my skin. I'm 39 years old. I will be 40 in just over 6 months, because I take care of my skin internally, not just externally. And that is huge. Would love a video on gallbladder and digestive stuff. Gallbladders. Okay. Gallbladders are actually what started me on the journey of finding about this. I had a 6-week-old baby, and I had to get emergency gallbladder surgery. So I wanted to find, I personally believe that the Creator didn't give us extra body parts. And so I really try to keep them all. I'm not anti-surgery. If you need surgery, then get it. But I really wanted to find a way to heal my organs rather than just remove them. So that's what got me into all of this. You want to come to an event? Okay, gallbladder, liver. Since you were 17 when you lost yours. Okay, I will do. So we're going to do one on the gallbladder, one on the thyroid. All right, Holly was actually, I need to tag Holly on this one. She was the one that was asking about chins and all of that kind of stuff. So I will tag her to make sure she got this. I hope that this was helpful. I hope that this helped answer. Tonsils. I'm going to just really quickly that. So tonsils are part of your lymph system. Thank you. They are part of your immune system. And tonsils are part of the things that help clear out toxic words or trap them. So a lot of kids, this is why a lot of children and teenagers have tonsillitis, because they are told, you can't say that. Don't say that again. And so it gets trapped in their tonsils and it just gets, yeah. What is the measurement for the chins and the jaws? I did that at the very beginning. So your chin is 2 fingers. It's under your lip. So the longer the chin, the more words, the shorter the chin, the shorter the words. And then the jaw, the more square the jaw, the harsher the words. Can energy healing help big tonsils in a toddler? Yes, but if a toddler that is nonverbal yet has big tonsils, it's more that they are not able to express themselves. So I would actually recommend teaching them like baby sign language, or help their vocabulary, and a lot of times those will go down on their own. They're just trapped words. And so for toddlers to have really big tonsils or adenoids or any of that kind of stuff, it's because they don't know how to express themselves. So we'll say things like, just use your words. And they're like, I don't know what word to use. But it's not being able to express themselves with tonsil issues. Yeah, and babies having tonsil issues, that's very much probably a genetic thing. They're one of many. They're feeling unheard. I was the youngest of 7 living children. My parents had 8. One passed away as an infant. And so I had a lot of throat issues when I was little. I constantly had strep throat because I never felt heard. Now, whether or not that perception was accurate, I always felt unheard. And so I had a lot of throat issues because I felt like no one listens to me. My words don't matter. So when people have a lot of throat issues, either they're not speaking, they lack the ability, they're not quite sure how to articulate it, or even when they do speak, they feel like no one's listening anyway. And that was my case. So it's kind of ironic that now I am a professional presenter and have spoken on international stages and in front of thousands of people, because my mess became my strongest thing. Now I know my words matter and I speak them often. So when you have toddlers or children, it can be generational, especially where it's in an infant. So Nicole asked, is this theirs? What percentage of it is theirs? Your lymph glands under your chin are very often swollen. Well, Lori, it is time to express your desires. I'm totally cheating there. I know Lori. And I know she is not someone who willingly asks for what she wants. So if you want that to go away, start saying, I want this and I am allowed to have it. For a lot of women, that's what helps. She's going to laugh at me when I say that. There's just enough of a delay that I say that, and then I have to wait for her to respond. Okay, I really try to keep these less than a half an hour, so I have gone over a little bit. I love you. I will decide if I'm going to do gallbladder or thyroid next week. I will probably do thyroid because that's the one that came up first, so I'm betting more people need that one. If you have questions, put them in the comments. I look forward to seeing you guys every week. I hope that these are helpful. And I love you, and I'll talk to you later. Oh, under chin acne. It's hidden words. Great question, Nicole. It's hidden words. They go under the chin. Yeah. And like guys, when they're shaving, all the ingrown hairs. Lori, see, I told you. Yeah, that's hidden words. That's why they're under. Okay, I really am going to stop this video because I get so excited about this and I could go on forever. I love you.